let me welcome you to today's flight. Once again, it's gonna be VFR, but I just can't help myself. Um, it's just, the scenery is so great, and um, I have a feeling that almost everyone in the sim world can, fly VOR to VOR, but not everyone can fly, Dead Reckoning and pilotage. Strange as it may sound. And we have a nice weather today, so we'll take advantage of that. It will also give us more options to actually consider airspaces around us. If you're flying IFR, you basically don't care if there is Bravo, Charlie, Delta, whatever, because you don't need a specific clearance. You have an IFR clearance. So today it's gonna be from Orlando Executive to Palm Beach County Glades. The name of the field is kind of mouthful. There is a lot of Palm Beach airports around the area. It's North Palm Beach County and some Palm Beach something else. But we are flying to Palm Beach County Glades. The weather is quite fine. These are pictures from the morning, very light winds, variable winds, and clear skies, apart from north area and south area. We are bordered by clouds. Um, we have very high temperatures. So at Florida or in Florida at this time of year, it's pretty warm. I've put out METARs for Orlando Executive and then for Everglades and North Palm Beach County. Our Palm Beach County Glades lies exactly in the middle of these two. So I can interpolate weathers or pick whatever, pick the worst from each of them. Yeah, so there you go. Let's check the weather also here if nothing changed. So these are winds at 20 Zulu at 6,000 feet. 3,000 feet, basically the same surface. Yeah, hard to say what kind of winds we will encounter here. Prediction is that it's gonna be, is it from the south? Let me see if we have the weather vanes. Yeah, probably like from the north, so likely will be landing north. Icing is not a problem because there are no clouds. So pretty good. And let's just check some plots. So this is a wind plot. We are in this area. At surface, if I go like, I cannot go back in time, but that's 19 Zulu, and if I go like one at a time, we can get a sense how the systems are moving, and we have a feeling that it's not moving at all. So we expect the weather to be kind of constant at this point. All right. Route planning. So this is the route I planned. As you see, we are going to take off. Is it runway? What runway is it? Runway 7. Depart, stay below 1600 feet, so we can fly under this class Bravo, then turn south. Just skirt this portion, and I'll show you also on the big map in a while, and then continue downward. This is an example of navlog. What I did was I generated a navlog for 2,500 feet, which I'll be flying all the way to here, to my 4th user fix, and then I would climb to 5,500 because I will clear this Bravo airspace here. We have a Bravo to deal with, Delta to deal with, and we can check a fly and tech chart. I will show you why it might be better to check those two. We have a military operations area, Marion. You can see it here, but I planned to actually skirt it. We can check on the sectional what kind of activity or what times the activity is going on. And we have a bunch of military routes in the area. We don't have any controllers, so we don't have anyone to ask about the status of those. So let's go to SkyVector directly and see what is at our disposal. So if I zoom in the Orlando area, you can see that I can use either World VFR, or I can use the Jacksonville sectional. That's part of how the World VFR looks like. Or I can use Orlando Fly on Orlando TAC, the terminal area control. So if I use the TAC, for example, it looks very much like a sectional, but see that kind of you can read it better, right? Because the resolution is kind of it's not 1 to 500,000. It's smaller or higher, however you want to see that. And you can actually see here. If I check Jacksonville, there's like big yellow shape. But if I take a tag chart, I can see the roads in the city as well. So when I take off on runway 7, I will try to follow this road, right? And that should keep me. I'm starting in the Delta airspace because Orlando Executive is a Delta airport. It goes to 1600 feet excluded, so surface to 1599. And then above that, we have a class Bravo. So when we are coming out, we'll try to stay below 1600 feet, follow this road. When we see the Stanton power plant off of our right wing, we can make a turn and continue south. And that will allow us, we need to go past the Stanton power plant to our right. So we stay out of this Bravo that goes from 1600 feet. And this one goes from 900 feet. Whereas this section that we will be flying in is, if I zoom out, it's from 3000 to 10,000. So when we are making this right turn, we can at the same time climb a little higher. For me, it should stay just under 3000 feet. That's fine. So you can fly, for example, 2900, because as long as you are within 3000 feet AGL, you can pick whatever altitude you want. You don't need to adhere to those odd plus 500 or even plus 500. So under 3000 feet, it doesn't matter. So I will pass by the Stanton power plant, continue south. There is a Presque VRP. I guess I will recognize it as a Lake Preston or Lake Myrtle. You can definitely see those lakes. And then continue more south all the way to this funny shaped lake. And there will be some radio tower, for example. I think it's pretty high. So when I reach this, and of course I will cross-check that with my time, because I will be timing these legs, then I can turn a little bit left and head, I plan to kind of parallel this Florida Turnpike at some point. But when I'm there, I can actually point myself in a way that I will pass this bigger Lake Marion, to my right. And at the same time, I will kind of go parallel with this Florida Turnpike. Okay, so that's it. And of course, going forward, I need to switch to the Miami sectional because I don't have a tag anymore. And you can see we are basically following this road. We can cross-check. There should be a blue Cypress Lake to our left. Continue down, and when this Florida Turnpike turns left or bends left hard, we can turn south again, and it's 22 miles, and we should see this lake, already from up there, at least vaguely. So we continue straight down the middle of this lake. And then for the final leg, it will depend if you want to approach from the west or from the east. We'll cover that in our arrival briefing. So that's Orlando Tech, that you can see those ground references. There is another chart, Orlando Fly, which makes it even easier, to see the kind of airspaces that are around and the visual reporting points. So feel free to reference this chart instead if you want. This fly is not that complicated, but what you can see very clearly here is, for example, these flyways. These are these light blue arrows. And these are areas that they estimate will contain the least of traffic. areas that should be least congested if you want to fly. So if you want to cross from east to west, it's best to do that and at this location. It will not guarantee you that there will be no one in the sky, but it will guarantee you that with very high probability this will be the less congested airspace that you can use. And then we have also like VFR arrival routes, and these are depicted by magenta arrows and described actually here on the top of the panel. There's like a description of them. But we're obviously not using them today because these are arrival routes to Orlando Sanford. So feel free to reference whatever chart you need. Of course, every time when you are flying VFR, even if you pick very distinguished like VRPs, visual reporting points, that you are very certain that you can see them from up in the air, always time your legs nevertheless or nonetheless. So when you are flying over your user fix that you defined, just reset the timer. Make sure that you are flying the true airspeed that you planned for, at least roughly. It doesn't need to be exactly like that, but at least roughly. And always make sure that you will reference these kind of visual reporting points and your user fixes by what you see on the ground and by the time that you have. You might have some similar features on the ground, and you need to verify that you are at the correct one. So that's routing itself. Any questions toward that?
Yeah, maybe one. I couldn't finish your video from last time, so I missed out on the correction from the aircraft. How to calculate that on top of the magnetic heading?
Sure. Yeah.
I can watch it, but maybe somebody else has the question. So decide if you want to show it again.
Yeah. So you mean the variation or deviation?
Yeah, from the sorry.
Well, I can explain both things. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get right to it.
Thank you.
Last comment to these sectionals are these VR and IR routes. They're not very visible, but those are military routes that the military aircraft will take. So if we have ATC, we can actually ask about them, and they will have like description down below as well, so we can look, what altitude they're usually flying and so on. Okay, let's go to Navlog. So I'll use mine that I generated here. Is it visible? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just take some pencil and I'll make marks. So let's say that I will like to compute my from Presque to Odell. All right. So I'm interested in this. All right. So what I know when I plotted the course, I know the distance, right? So this is something I can measure directly on the sectional. Other thing I know is my track, 180. This is the true track, and it's logical because if you see, it's like line straight to the south. So my true track that I want to fly is 180. Okay, that is something I can measure from from the sectional. Then the other thing I need is to know my true airspeed. So based on my POH and based on the calculation, I calculated that at this altitude, at this temperature, at this pressure altitude, and at my weight, my true airspeed at a certain engine setting will actually equal to 180 or should equal to 180. But this is another thing I know. And then I need to plan, I need to verify or find out what the wind is. So here Sky Vector makes it easy for me. It will tell me what average wind or is to be expected on this leg. So this time it's like wind from 620s at 10 knots. All right. So now I can calculate those wind correction angles and true headings and variation magnetic headings and whatnot. So how do I go about that? Since I know my true track, which is 180 degrees, and I know that the wind is blowing from 620 degrees at 10. I can calculate my wind correction angle. Here, the sky vector actually calculates it for me. So I need to correct that and fly a true heading of 177, so -3 degrees. I can also show you quickly here, if you're interested, how to use this one to determine that.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Yeah, I know it theoretically, but I haven't actually calculated that stuff before. So
okay, so just I'll do it quickly here. So this is the wind side that lets you like count your wind correction angles. All right. So first of all, you set here the wind direction, right? Under the true index, you will input like 62 because the wind is coming from 62 degrees. All right. Then you need to mark that its velocity is 10 knots. So if you see the center here of this dial, I will mark 10 knots from the center. So there, I will make a mark. Now I need to rotate this to the track that I want to fly. And I want to fly directly south. Right? And finally, I need to slide this so I have this red dot on my true airspeed. In that case, my true airspeed is 180. And I can now read wind correction angle here. So I can see that I need to, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees. So 3 degrees to the left. So my wind correction angle is -3. And under the center, I will read my ground speed, which will be 185. Let's correct if sky vector calculated the same. So wind correction angle -3 and ground speed 184. Okay, so not 185, but 184. Close enough. So that is wind correction angle. And now I know my true heading. However, true heading is kind of useless if all my instruments only show magnetic heading. So now I need to find what's the magnetic variation in the area that I'm at. And that I can know from either from some airport chart, for example, if I check the airport diagram for executive airport, it will give me 6.5 west. Or I can go to sectional and look for this magenta dashed line, which looks like this. Can you see that? It's magenta line, and it's depicted like 6 degrees west here.
Oh, that's the west is best and east is least rule,
Yes.
right? Oh, nice.
Yes. And there is another isogenic line, which says 7. So we are kind of in the middle. Hence, Orlando executive is like 6.5, 6.5 west. So since it's west is best, then what you do on your navlog is that you need to add this. So you add 7 degrees. So you add 7 degrees to your true heading, and you get a magnetic heading of 184 degrees. Now, if you have a compass card in your aircraft, then you need to also correct for that, because your compass will be influenced by your instruments, in the cockpit. So it might have slight variations or deviations, to be more precise. And let's say that my compass card says, for flying south, you actually turn to 181.
It depends on the direction you fly at, and it's measured, right, from time to
Yes.
time.
Yes,
And
exactly.
okay, yeah.
And it will be
Okay,
like
nice.
there will be a placard in your cockpit.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks.
So yeah, so if it says that for flying south I need to fly 181, then I would add additional 1 to this, and I would have a like compass heading of 185. And of course,
So,
yeah.
So a positive number on that chart means you added, and a negative one you subtracted, right?
Sure.
Just like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And if it's somewhere in the middle between some numbers, then you just take the
Yeah.
median or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you just,
Okay.
it's gonna be like 1 or 2 degrees, so it's not that important,
Not much.
because yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
And then final thing is, that ground speed, because the E6B showed you, and from distance and ground speed, obviously you can calculate the time.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, I will definitely. Thank you.
All right. So that was the route. Any other questions towards the route? No. Okay, departure. So I will be loading in here. This is a shelter FBO. So on this ramp, on west ramp. And today it's gonna be runway 7 because of the wind. The wind, let's just quickly reconfirm. If I go back to Orlando Executive, is reported as 050, but that was like an hour ago. 050, this is a true. So if we need to add 7 degrees again, so the wind might be like 057. Of course, these are given in tenths of degrees, so it can be anything from like 046 to 055, let's say, or 045 to 055. So let's say that the true magnetic wind will be somewhere between 50 and 60. Okay, so we'll take runway 7. We'll depart straight out, and it actually corresponds perfectly with our first heading. It's just down the runway, and we follow the road and turn there. We make sure, well, in this case, it's like a controlled airport, so we don't need to do the standard kind of departure like straight out. But if we consider that to be class Golf because there is no controller, then we're gonna depart straight out, be at least 1500 feet AGL, so 500 feet above the pattern altitude, before turning on course. So these areas, these strafed areas, are non-movement areas. So you don't need to call anyone, for taxi. So let's say that I'm starting here on the north of the west ramp. I can taxi without saying anything to anyone all the way down here, and only before entering Golf, I need to have a taxi clearance from the ground. It's kind of different to most of the Europe. In US, they utilize those non-movement areas quite much. So I'll do just that, I will taxi down and then enter Golf, and only then I will make my call that I'm taxiing. And from there, it's very short taxi to runway 7. If we had a controller, our calls would look like something like this. The briefing is already quite long, so I'm not gonna read it right now. You all had a chance to actually go through that before this flight. And if we don't have a controller, which it looks that we will not have one, we will just announce ourselves using these calls to the right. Something like Orlando Executive Traffic, November 123 Alpha Bravo, is a type Cessna 152 by the shelter FBO, taxiing to runway 7, for example. And then, of course, you call the departure, you call your takeoff, and then you can call, when you are out of the pattern and leaving the area, you can make your final call. Any questions to the departure? If not, I'll move en route. This is mainly like a slide for the case we have a controller. So very quickly, aviate, navigate, communicate in that order. Keep track of your progress. That means cross-checking your navlog with your progress. Watch for other traffic all the time because you're flying VFR, so you are perfectly responsible for avoiding other traffic. And last but not least, enjoy the views. Right, then we prepare for arrival. And these are those two approaches that I spoke about. So from the north of Lake Okeechobee, you either follow the east coast or you follow the west coast or go over water. Most likely we will be landing north. And if I check the airport page for this, I will know that it has a runway 18 and runway 36. So it's going to be runway 36 most likely. In that case, if you are coming from the east, which I'm planning to do, the standard entry procedure on an uncontrolled field or untowered field is to overfly the field perpendicular to the runway 500 feet above the pattern altitude. In this case, it's 1,500 feet MSL and also AGL. So overfly that field, fly at least 2 nautical miles still at this altitude to avoid the pattern that is on this side, because we have like a left pattern here. This is kind of blown up, this procedure. You don't go that far. The 2 nautical miles, it's somewhere around there where the letter R is. So at this point, you would actually execute what is depicted here. So you would execute the descending right turn to intercept finally the left downwind of this runway, roughly at midfield if possible, and at 1,000 feet MSL and AGL in this case. It's the same. So this is a standard pattern entry like procedure. Since there will be like more of us flying, then we should execute this one. If you are there and nobody else is in the pattern, you can do the alternate entry. That means crossing the field already at pattern altitude at 1,000 feet and turning directly to downwind. And why I'm saying do that if there is no one else in the pattern or approaching, because when you are entering the pattern, you need to give way to aircraft that are already in the pattern. And if there is an aircraft flying on downwind and you're flying there and you need to give way, where do you go? You have virtually nowhere to go. If you're flying here and joining, under 45 degrees to the left downwind, you can always like break off to the right and actually make a turn, make a 360 and try again. If you are there, you have no way, nowhere to kind of give way. And for those that are flying from the west or over the lake, it's a standard, 45-degree entry to the downwind. And you try your best to actually enter the downwind at midfield under 45 degrees. Slight variations are, of course, permitted. It's very difficult to hit it exactly if you don't know the area. And again, self-announcement. In the pattern altitude, you announce every single leg. So you announce when you enter downwind, you announce when you turn base, and you announce when you turn final. As a general rule, it's customary to announce yourself latest at when you are 10 miles from the field. So let's say that I'm following this east coast of this lake. Then when I'm like 10 nautical miles from there, I will announce myself something like County Glades traffic, November 123 Alpha Bravo, Cessna 152, 10 miles north-northeast of the airport, joining left downwind runway 36. And that's all that you need to say. Another call would be when you are actually crossing the field or slightly before, you will call that you're overflying the field and you are doing the teardrop entry into the left downwind of 36. Your next call will be when entering the downwind, then when turning base, then when turning final, and then when runway is vacated. And all the calls are listed, so feel free to reference them. So that's quite it from my side. Well, happy flying. See you at Palm Beach County Glades in an hour or in an hour and a half. I'll be here until everyone has landed. So I'm available for you.
Thank you so much.
Happy
Bye.
flying.
All right, it's time to get flying. So I'll just start my engines. SAM lights go on. Looks good. And all the switches that I need.
Radio check.
5x5.
Thanks.
Alright. Let's start the engine. And I need to buy mixtures there. Okay. Second one. Fuel pumps go too low. Verify that it's the engines are in the green. Temperature's rising, oil pressure is in the green, suction is good. I have fuel. I can lean those engines a little bit. I've prepared my navlog already in the morning, and I checked the winds slightly changed, but not significantly so I will use this. These are like estimates anyway. Alright, let's bring up the taxi chart. Okay, I already had that. So I'm located there and the west ramp, actually in the middle. So I'll just gonna taxi here to Golf and then taxiway Golf run up area. So I will do my run up here and then continue to runway 7. Alright, latest weather. Wind is almost perfectly lined up with the runway at 10 knots. Altimeter 3022. So let's configure that one. So let's go 3022. There. Okay. That's consistent. I have my Unicom tuned in. Let's configure the timers. So reset this timer and this timer. And let's reset also this timer. Okay. Looks good. So runway 7, it's gonna be roughly there. Just need to orient myself. Okay.
Orlando Executive, Bonanza, November 9 Bravo Charlie is at Shelter FBO, taxiing to runway 7 via Golf and Alpha, Orlando Exec.
Okay, so since I'm still at the non-movement area, I can taxi at my will. It's very good they have water in the middle of the airport. Orlando Executive Traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo Twin Cessna, just by the taxiway Golf. Entering taxiway Golf, we'll be stopping at the run-up area for run-up. Orlando Executive. Okay, so this is the run-up area. Just go there to do my run-up. Let's face into the wind, which is roughly from 080. There we go. Set parking brakes, full mixture, and let's do 1700 RPM. There we go. So magnetos. One set goes off. Very good. And second set. Very good. Section's great. Everything is in the green. We'll test the feathering. Okay, both engines. Fine, let's put it back. Let's just idle. Engines are still running. So put them a little bit back and lean it again. Now test flight control. So when I turn it left, I need to see this aileron move up. Good. Okay. Elevator, yes, and the rudder. Okay, so free and correct. Altimeter is set correctly. The elevation of this field is 113. That's close enough. Okay. Let's go. Executive traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, Twin Cessna at run-up taxiway Golf, taxiing to runway 7. Executive. Okay, a little bit of FPS issues. Hope that it's alright. So initially, after I take off, I'll climb to maximum of like 1,600 or slightly below, so 1,500, to be able to.
Orlando exit traffic, code 36 X-ray at the west ramp via taxi by Golf, taxi to runway 07 via Golf, Alpha 8, Orlando exit.
To stay under the class Bravo. Right. Orlando executive traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, taking off runway 7, straight out departure, and then turning to the east. Executive. Okay, so strobe lights go on, landing lights go on, fuel pumps are on. Just line up on the runway and start the timer. Flaps are up, good. Temperature, yeah, 25 or more. So we'll just line up here. So let's start the timer. And off we go.
Orlando executive, 901 Bravo Charlie, lining up runway 7 behind the departing Twin Cessna. Orlando exec.
Right. Gear up.
Orlando traffic, Skyhawk Papa Kilo Echo Bravo is taxiing to runway 7 via Golf and hold sharp.
This is the road that we should follow. Okay, I can remove a little bit of power. I don't need that much. So let's preserve those engines. Okay, very nice weather.
Aircraft calling Unicorn, that was static only.
So first leg should take me like just 1.6
Orlando
minutes.
executive, 901 Bravo Charlie, taking off runway 7, straight out departure, and then turning to the southeast. Orlando
Okay.
exec.
So I'm just leveling off in 1,500. Turning to follow this road and resetting my timer. Fuel pumps can go off. Landing lights as well. Orlando executive traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo heading east at 1,500, about 5 miles from the airport. Final call, executive. Okay, and let's let's reduce that power. I don't need to fly this. And now I'm looking to the right because I need to follow this road. All the way there, and when I see standard power plant on my right, I can turn right.
Orlando exact traffic, code 36 X-ray, departing runway 07,
And
start of departure, Orlando exact.
It should take me approximately 3 minutes to get there. Flying just 1 minute, and I believe I see that power plant there. So when I have it to my right, on my right wing, I will turn towards that. In the meantime, following this road.
Orlando Executive, 91 Bravo Charlie, leaving the pattern at 1,500 feet, turning southeast, final call, Orlando Exec.
Very smooth air today. Okay, landing lights are off, fuel pumps are off. Last station calling, just a static, no voice. Okay, hate this. Okay, starting to climb a little bit. I don't want that, so reduce power. Alright, there's a power plant. So I'll just make a right turn. And I can start climbing to 2,500.
Orlando exact traffic, Kodiak 36 X-ray, upwind runway 07 at 1000, departing east at 1000, final call, Orlando exact.
And my heading should be 184. What the hell was that? So let's climb. I should be passing that power plant, and I should have resetted my timer, so let's do that now. Should be passing the power plant to my right. Okay, still climbing.
Ground traffic, Skyhawk, Kilo Bravo, departing runway 7.
Okay. Right, there's a colleague there and another. Very good. So this is the power plant. We're passing by. Let's stop the climb. So let's reduce the power a little bit. I'll probably not be able to actually maintain 180 knots at this low of altitude, but it's all right. Still climbing a little bit, but that's all right. I just need to make sure that I don't climb over 3,000 feet to stay below the Bravo airspace. Okay, so I'm flying now this leg 184 for 4.6 minutes and then another for 4.5. So let's make it 9 minutes all the way to Odell. And actually press, yeah, and Odell is a point where I can start climbing, well, shortly after that. So 9 minutes on this heading. some clouds there. Should stay below those. So I'm now at 3,000 feet almost, so let's still stay below. Little trim forward. Should actually stay 500 feet below those clouds. I have no experience of how to judge that. I have a feeling that this is not 500. Right, so Presk, I will recognize that by the lake, and it's this lake actually. So let's turn a little bit to the left. And since I can recognize this visual reporting point quite easily, I will reset my timer when reaching that. So I can time my next leg better. And I expect that to take a little bit more than 4.5 minutes because I'm not doing 180 obviously. So this is Presk. So reset the timer, turn 184.
November 652 landing, my comms check.
Working.
Thank you.
Right, how do I recognize Odell then? It's a funny shaped lake. But first I will be crossing these 3 lakes. There are those. Very good. So let's tackle those at first, and then we continue forward and onward. This is not what I would what I would call like a clear skies. Definitely not. But the weather is unpredictable. Right, the lakes, 2 minutes, so another 2.5 minutes to get to Odell. I'm calling it Odell because there is like a intersection Odell next to it, but what I mean is this lake. Of course that will only happen if I fly the correct heading.
Orlando Executive Traffic, Delta Echo Lima Uniform X-Ray is a Cessna 172, taxiing to runway 7 via Alpha 8.
Could that be the lake? Could, I guess. But the time, well, I'm going slower than 980. Maybe doing like 170 at best through airspeed. But still, it should probably... Okay, so at least the LEGO transmitter or radio antenna is here, which will be that point. And I need to forget about the lake itself. Because this will be Florida Turnpike, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So it seems like the lake is not happening. Should be to the right of the... basically there somewhere. Okay, I'll treat it as, you know, reaching that transmitter, and then from there I'll turn to 155 and start climbing shortly after passing this. So it's gonna be 155. Right about now. Need to wait a little bit more to get out of the Bravo. Like 2 nautical miles, so almost 1 minute, and of course reset the timer. So it took me 5:15, so let's make the first note here. 5.25, I'm typing red, doesn't matter. So after like 1 minute flying this heading, I will be safely out of Bravo. I will come parallel to this Florida Turnpike. And then I can climb to 5,500. Right, let's configure for the climb. Let's go. To pitch for 120. And trim the aircraft. Okay, 1,000 feet to go. Okay, that's 5,500. To start trimming back. As it accelerates. Alright, as it accelerates forward. Now I can start bringing power back a little bit. And cleaning the mixture. Yep. Alright, so this lag should take me 6 minutes. It's already 4.5. And it should put me there, so next to the road and also the lake. If I kind of extend this lake, so it's kind of yeah, so it's kind of there. And I should basically follow this Florida Turnpike if I'm not mistaken. Yep, so let's switch to Miami. Yeah, I'll just follow that, more or less. Right, almost there. In 6 minutes we'll be there as well. Next heading will be 151, so let's configure that already. 151. I believe we can. No, not yet. It's gonna say we can reset the timer, but let's wait just a bit. Ah, it's 6 minutes. Okay, let's pretend we did exactly as calculated. 6 minutes. Alright, so now we fly 151 for 6.5 minutes. And that should take us all the way to this bend in the turnpike. So we should be just keeping that road to our right. And at some point we should see the lake as well. But at the end of these 6, this is the lake. Or is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, but let's fly this 151. Let's maybe add a little bit of power so you're faster. Burning more fuel. Fuel is still sufficient. All right. If I can control this aircraft, I will try to calculate my true airspeed. So first of all, I need to know my pressure altitude, which is around 5,200 feet. I need to know the temperature. It's like 5 degrees or something. So let's line up 5 degrees plus with 5,000 and something. It's around there. Okay, let's keep the heading. And now my indicated airspeed is 165, 163. 163, so my true airspeed was 177. Okay, that's close enough. So if I wanted my true airspeed to be 180, then I would need to fly indicated 166. Yeah, that's close enough for our purposes. So which one is the turnpike? Is it this one? Oh, no. The turnpike is actually... Yeah, it's this one. Should be a turnpike. One to the right, yes. And I'm still drifting off my heading. That's better. Right, so this is the turnpike and this is the bend that I was speaking about. So at that point we will turn right and head for this giant lake. We could already see it from here. That's good. Okay, what about controllers? Okay, we have some center online that is nearby. Let's verify which one of that. Ah, it's this one, Kingston radar. Okay, nothing for us then. Okay, I need to put a little bit of right rudder trim. Aircraft still has some left turning tendencies. Okay, there is another power plant for I think. Let's verify that. Where would that be? Behind the lake. Why am I descending? Okay, I cannot say. But my time allocated for this is 6.5 minutes. It's 1 more minute to fly. And that's kind of consistent with this band. Thirty more seconds and then we'll turn 188. Let's put it in. In all honesty, you should like probably change the altitude because 188 is already westbound. So do I change altitude? Yeah, I will. Well, I won't. I'll be a bad boy. So 6.35. Let's turn. Very good. And we took 6.6. So now we are heading toward this lake. another 7 minutes. Okay, now I'm completely hands off and feet off. Tendency to slightly turn right, so just correct. Maybe ease up on the rudder trim just a little bit. Add a little bit more power, so I stay at altitude. This looks nice. Yeah, I'm gonna ask guys how it's going. So how is it going, guys? Have you managed to get lost already? Or on track?
I guess you're in here, right? Oh yeah, no, it's better.
Yeah.
I had some problems with, I don't know, some trimming or autopilot, whatever. That took me a bit too high, but now I'm back on altitude, but way behind.
That's alright. But you will need to explain to me what the autopilot is. I don't know that word.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was trying to concentrate not on too much, so I set it on, but then everything went a bit wrong.
I'm
so
just kidding, you know. Yeah. Of
Yeah,
course you
I should
utilize
have-
whatever you have.
Yeah, no, but I guess I shouldn't have taken it. So, yeah, just try to make things a bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm at the power plant right now.
yeah. Even the autopilot, you need to know how to operate it. You know, to fly properly.
Yeah, I know. It's weird sometimes because I have this honeycomb Bravo thing, and it sometimes activates buttons, even if I didn't want that. So VS was on max, so it took me up higher until I noticed what's going on. So yeah, have to figure that out more. But thank you for asking.
Yeah, I noticed I have a Bravo for like a year and a half already, and it's been great. But I noticed that one of the switches, from the one of the rock switches, I believe it's the number 3. Sometimes I get a feeling that it doesn't switch properly, like hardware, like not that it would do anything like itself, but sometimes it like stays on even if I turn it off. I don't know if there's some contact issue, you know, wiring issue or anything like that. I don't know. But you know, I love that Bravo and Alpha.
It's a totally different feeling, right?
Yeah, I had Logitechs, you know, before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like going from how to describe it? I don't know, even from some old car, you know, to a new one.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have both the Alpha and Bravo since, I don't know, 1.5 weeks, so just still figuring that stuff out.
So, do you have this new Alpha that already has this, you know, magneto switch that returns to both?
No, the old one.
Old one, okay.
What? They made one of those?
Well,
That's really cool, right?
They were promising that, you know, like a year back. I don't know if they actually released that yet.
Oh. It annoys me every time I have to start that I have to take it back manually.
You know, you know, I don't mind because in other aircraft I can actually use all those 5 buttons.
That's true.
Oh yeah, and the Cessna, it's really like made for it, I guess, with the master everything.
Yeah, but I utilize it even in Cessna 310. I utilize
nice.
when flying. Well, when I'm flying something which has like a stick, like I had a Corsair, I believe, from the World War II. I actually used joystick instead. But I even fly Boeing in this, even though I don't
Nice.
fly Boeing that much. Very infrequently. These visuals of MSFS, it's just sin not to take advantage of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just started out a few weeks again when I got sick, so I had plenty of time. And I played Flight Simulator, I think in the 90s or something, the last time. So that was really a new experience.
Yeah,
Being able to VFR. So.
Correction, you didn't play Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, my wife always says like, "Are you gonna play?" No, it's not playing. If you do it like I try to do it with VATSTAR and everything, it's really work.
But sometimes they cannot get it right. The women.
No.
They just don't get it.
No, they just don't do it. Yeah, well, I explained a little bit, and kind of dreaming about maybe this will bring me somewhat closer to actually doing the license, but yeah, I don't know yet. So, and that made her like listen closer because that means vacations on the plane. Okay, now I have the autopilot off and I have to, oh my god, I have to get used to this whole trim thing and airspeed, throttle, whatnot, reverse command thingy. It's
Good
pretty
luck.
hard. Yeah, working on it.
Alright, so I should start descending soon. Just follow this coast. I'm taking a little bit of detour, so it won't take me exactly like 9 minutes. But let's start descending already. Very smoothly, so just bring the power back a little bit. Just trim it for 170 actually. There we go. Am I trimmed for 170? If so, I can just play with power to keep the desired descent rate. Let's reset this nose trim a little bit. Okay, now I slow down. And to keep it there, stop oscillating. Alright, and I need to verify when I'm 10 miles, so the final stretch is like 27 miles, so let's say after not 9 minutes, but after 6 minutes or something, I will announce my position. I need a little bit of right rudder trim. Let's look for some features. Okay, features. Okay, this leg is a huge feature. It's this one. Alright. It's hard to miss. This tends to oscillate, so the average descent rate will be around what I want. It's just the average. Right, a beam of this funny man-made lake, I guess. And let's see. Alright, so the airport should be around there. And I should then continue straight to kind of fly over that field. I'll do the full, procedure entry there into it. Gonna be landing runway 36. Let's find the magnetic heading of that runway. So runway 36, runway 354 true, so plus 6 or 7, so it's 360. Okay, heading 360. That's the runway. Right, coming up on 6 minutes. But I'm still at the level of the lake. And that's there. So it's like another 3 miles or 4 miles until I'm 10 miles out. And at this speed I will do 3 miles in 1 minute, so I'll wait 1 more minute. So until there is 7 there. Then I'll make the call. Now all the way descending. So once more, let's verify if the runway should be there. All right. Okay, let's make the call. Palm Beach County Glades traffic. This is Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo Cessna twin Cessna 310, approximately 10 miles northeast of the field. We'll be entering left downwind runway 36 County Glades. Okay. Can already slow down a little bit, so let's just bring the power back, keep the altitude. Still need to descend to 1500 before overflying the field. But I can do that when already slower. I will turn on my fuel pumps at this point and landing lights. a lot of agriculture going on in here. So, do I have the airport or not? I know roughly where it should be, so I'll just turn there. And maybe I'll hit it. Okay, altimeter. Let's check the other two fields, 3019er and 3018. So I will configure that. It's closer than what I have. Okay, there should be an airport there, so let's turn there and descend. Okay, so you can see some lights. Probably a little bit to the south of it, but that's 1500, so let's level off and slow down. Okay, there's the field. So let's... County Glades traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo overflying the field at 1500 from east to west. We'll be doing a teardrop entry into left downwind runway 36, County Glades. Okay, so that's the field. It's runway 36 there. This is a VOR station. All right. So I'm doing 120. So when crossing the field, I'll reset the timer and fly for 1 minute to get 2 miles between me and the runway. Okay, timer is reset. Now let's fly for 1 minute before doing that teardrop entry. Okay, propellers go to 2500, mixture full rich. Okay, coming up on 1 minute, almost. Okay, so now I'll cut power a little bit. I will try to make it like a standard rate turn that works best for me and descend to 1000 feet. Okay, so that's 1000 feet and 45-degree entry. And I can slow up. It's too much. Drop flaps 1, looking nobody in the traffic pattern. County glades traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, entering left downwind runway 36 at 45. County glades. Okay, let's add a little bit of power. We are at left downwind right now. Perfect. Let's drop the gear and still add power. We can start descending. We have 3 greens. Okay, converging on the runway, so a little bit more power down. County glades traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning left base, runway 36, County glades. Okay. This one, I can drop next notch of flaps. And straight to final. County glades traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning final runway 36, full stop landing, County glades. A little bit low. Farther than I thought that I'd be, but speed is good. Flaps are, yeah, down. So let's make it visual. A little shallow descent. A bit shallower than I would like. I'll make it work. Alright, cut power. Flaps going up. Right, let's go here. County glades traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, runway 36 is vacated, County glades. Alright, so let's park it somewhere. Okay, parking brake on, strobe lights off, landing lights off. Alright, so I still want to hear the calls, so I guess I'll keep at least one engine running. Can stop the timer. Let's see how long it took us. 51 minutes, 30 seconds. Alright. So I'll turn off engine number 1. And the corresponding switches. And I'll keep the rest running. Only thing I can turn off are engine pumps. Good. Okay. So before the guys arrive, let's verify on little nav map how I did. So take those points. I'll create a flight plan. It's gonna be a KORL. Those points. KPHK was
County
it?
Glades traffic. Bonanza 91 Bravo Charlie is 10 miles to the north, inbound to land at runway 36, and will join the left downwind. Currently descending through 5,000 feet. County Glades traffic.
Okay, quite close. Even Skyhawks are already there. Very good. Okay, so first of all, the route itself. Okay, I turned a little bit sooner. Let's verify if I busted the Bravo or not. Okay, good. I actually was to the left of the Bravo, to the east of the Bravo. This section that I flew like into, that was from 3,000 to 10,000, so that was good. Nice turn there. Nice turn there. Good. Very good. I believe that was, and of course from here I just took the route on the east coast. Entry procedure was flown correctly. If I measure distance, 0.9 mile. Yeah, as I said, I was converging a little bit on the runway, and I made it too long, I believe. What was the distance? Okay, I should have like maybe gone only there. So just took the turn a little bit later, but it worked out. Okay, let's see what others are doing. Okay, so now we have the Bonanza approaching. Let's hope they don't forget about the gear, because it doesn't look like they... Ah, now there is a gear. Nice landing, good. Very good landing, Klaus.
I'm surprised myself, actually.
Yeah, you basically touched down on those stripes, on the 1,000 foot marks. Very good.
County Glades traffic, 91 Bravo Charlie is vacated runway. County Glades.
Alright, so now we have a first Skyhawk approaching. It's Eugene.
Could you help me real quick when and what I should announce when approaching the airport, except for just entering the pattern? Do I have to say something before?
Yes, when you are approximately 10 miles from the airport.
Ah, that was that. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Just state, you know, where you are, what you are, and what are your intentions.
All right.
You don't need to say specifically, you know, what exact maneuver you will be doing to get there. So it's just good to announce that, you know, where you are, and that you will be joining, you know, left downwind runway 36, and how you will be joining, and you can announce it while you are doing that. Right, that's gonna be it. Okay, thank you very much for watching. This is where I will say goodbye to you. This was another VATSTAR group flight. You can check out vatstar.com if you want to learn how to fly properly in the US, and of course also in other parts of the world, because flight physics don't change. So this was Flying Broskev. See you next week. Bye bye.